no, nothing actually blew up. I just didn't have a way to start this episode. It's fine. We're fine. It's Monday in Montgomery, Alabama, and some things are open now, like this old-timey Goodwill that had a bench of unremarkable DVDs, but otherwise seemed like it might not have been an actual store that was doing business. I maybe should have grabbed this DVD of The Gambler 5, though, considering my current obsession with TV movies. Oh well. Close by was this place called Helping Hands Thrift Store, and not only was it open, but it was jam-packed with things to search through. There's so much stuff stacked up everywhere in here that it seems like this is one of those places that won't say no to any donation. Lots of electronics, cassettes, and record albums in this corner of the store. An insane amount of movies to scan through, which I did not have time to peruse in depth, but I did give everything a quick glance. There's an extensive board game section where I started to spy desirable logos like Parker Brothers and Milton Bradley, but unfortunately they've got a unique idea on how to price their board games. Yeah, without a note to confirm if these are even complete or not, there's no way I'm paying these prices. Fortunately, their video game section was a little more reasonably priced, and I managed to snag this nice copy of Pinbot for the NES for $5. I'll call that a win. Overall, a good store. I would come back here. A short trip from there, and we end up at the Eastbrook Flea Market and Antique Mall. It's trashy and classy. And this complex has a number of other stores, including another Helping Hands thrift store, a game store, and a comic shop. This could take a while. Inside Eastbrook, and it's daunting in here because I already see that there's an upper level. I didn't budget enough time for 2 levels. Lots of media and games everywhere throughout this place. It's hard to browse through all of them, but nothing rare or good seemed to jump out at me. There were some decent prices for an antique mall on some GameCube games here, but I did not partake. Here's a cool this thing, a World War II version of the Joe vs. the Volcano luggage, possibly? No one knows what it is exactly or how much to sell it for, though. But hey, it's here if you need a this thing. I completely missed the brief time when these kid-friendly electronic drum and keyboard kits were coming out. It would be fun to mess around with one of these. Oh god, there's a downstairs too? This place has 3 levels? Okay, well, here we go. I love when booths have laser discs for sale because you can always tell they've been burned by people who think they're buying records. I spied this 70s King Kong board game for $20, although I think it ended up being 50% off according to a sign in the booth. It seemed complete when I looked through it, so yeah, this came home with me. Even though the whole building was fairly cooled, they still had the big-ass fans everywhere running full blast. That's acceptable since it's 110 degrees outside. Time to head upstairs now and just marvel at how much stuff is in this place. This is one huge location. Lots of similar kinds of stuff up here though, although this massive console TV is interesting. I sure hope there's an elevator here in the building though, because I guarantee this weighs 900 pounds. Tons and tons of old cameras and old camera accessories up here. Then I found all these board games, and it was at this point that I believe my battery died or my phone started to overheat, because that's it for footage from this part of the trip. Like I said, I came home with that King Kong board game for $10. I'm very happy with my purchase, and I would come back here when I had way more time. Now I'm here at Amy's Antiques, which is where you'll find what I'm assuming is Bear Bryant's death car, but nothing else notable.
Peanut butter jelly, do the peanut butter jelly with a baseball bat. do the peanut butter.
Still in the vague general area of Alabama, although specifically I don't know where the hell I am anymore. Anyway, we're here at Wetumpka Flea Market and Antiques, where there are old pachinko machines and classic vending machines. Very cool. Also, 80s portrait. They had some cool board games, way too expensive, and some cool collectible glassware, also way too expensive. Some 8 and 16-bit cartridges here though that are decently priced. I grabbed a cart of pinball for the NES for $5 to sit next to Pinbot from earlier today. Here's an absolutely mangled copy of Scotland Yard that I bought elsewhere earlier this week. I guess this is going to be the game of the trip. Then by accident, I found this 1980s program from a New York exhibit about robots, and this is just very cool to flip through. 80s robots were fun. They'd bring you drinks and play your favorite cassette tapes. Not like today, where all the robots want to do is take our jobs and murder us. And yet we keep building them. Anyway, drove for a bit and ended up at your mom's flea market. I don't have a punchline here, but I didn't find anything. Drove for a bit more and found an absolutely massive location called Prattville Pickers, which seems like a place that's going to be pretty self-aware of what it is and won't be a treasure hunt like I'm hoping. And once inside, yeah, it was a lot of modern homemade crafts and other small business types of goods. Bespoke honey and things with Bigfoot painted on them and oh my god, bear! Thankfully though, about a fourth of the place was my brand of vintage stuff. This one booth of toys and games caught my attention for a bit, decent prices on most of it, and I am grabbing this stack of Chuck-relevant PS1 games for the collection. I briefly considered getting this GameCube as well. The price isn't too bad, and I never had this color variant, but I passed. Parker Brothers board game here, but probably a little too wacky and definitely too thwacky for my particular taste these days. Ah! Just a wrecked copy of the Xanadu soundtrack on vinyl here. I'm not sure what value that would have to anyone in this condition. Ah! Walking by a random shelf, I just happened to catch a glance at a stack of original You Don't Know Jack games for the PC. I played the hell out of all of these, and for 50 cents each, yeah, I don't mind reacquiring them. Above them was another small stack of games, but this Philips logo leapt out at me. Unfortunately, it's not a CDI game, but a PC release. It was nice to see that Philips committed to gaming after the death of the CDI, but still, yeah, for 50 cents, I'm putting it in the stack. Heading up towards Birmingham, Alabama now, and I stop at a place called Retro Game Planet. But despite the internet saying they're open today, they are not. So, back on the road. I land at a place called Zone 1 Video Games, very basic selection, nothing interesting here. And then this Salvation Army thrift store, again, nada, 3 failures in a row. But then there's the reason for going in this specific direction today. I'm stopping at the Galleria Mall to check out a store called Bumper Nets, which is a game room business that will sell you ping pong tables, pool tables, and my favorite kind of table, pinball tables. They have a small arcade set up on one side of the mall with half a dozen machines, including the new John Wick table, which is very bright and shiny. And then across from there is a showroom with pinball machines new and old, along with some arcade machines and other amusements. cool place. You're probably not going to spend the day here or anything since you need coins to play, but it's almost a mall arcade, and that's pretty neat. Finally, as the weather starts to get pretty ominous out here, I make it to another Second and Charles, but I won't have much time to browse because I've got a long drive ahead and I don't want to get stuck in this rain. Luckily, there was not much to browse through gaming-wise in here. That's a bummer. So I've got a long nighttime drive up into Tennessee for the evening, and that'll be that for this installment. I will say that night's hotel, located in Smyrna, Tennessee, was probably my favorite of the entire trip so far though, mainly because there's a no-soap radio joke in the bathroom, which, my god, that is an obscure reference. I mean, I doubt any of you watching this even know what I'm talking about. Go look that up, kids. Anyway, I'll try to finish up more of these episodes soon, I promise. Crazy stuff in the next one, I promise you. Thanks for watching, everyone. I will see you then.